Hey everyone, this is Joe from the Joe&ZO pod, and I'm inviting you to pull up a chair and we'll talk some cards. We got a whole bunch of TTM responses today. I'm excited to share them with you. All right, first one comes out of Houston, Texas, and it is Mr. Mark Thurman. He signed 1 of 1 in 9 days. He pitched from 1983 to 1990. He started his career as a starter, but transitioned into a reliever. He played for San Diego, Detroit, Baltimore, and San Francisco. Career numbers: 4.5 WAR, record of 40 and 46, a 3.69 ERA, and a 1.37 WHIP. He was drafted first in 1978 in the 24th round by the Padres. Decided to go back to school and was drafted again the next year by the Padres, but this time it was in the 5th round. And as I said, he began his career as a starter. In fact, his entire career with the Padres, he was basically a starter. And once he left San Diego, he became a reliever. He was a member of the 1984 Padres World Series team that lost. His best season was in 1984 when he went 14-8 with a 2.97 ERA. And one little tidbit about him: he never went on the DL his entire career. So it's not like he pitched forever, but that's pretty impressive to stay healthy for that entire time. So that is Mr. Mark Thurman. Our next response comes from Cincinnati, Ohio, and it is Mr. Bill Wegman. You can see the top right corner of the card got a little damaged in transit. This has been a recurring problem for me in our past couple TTM videos. I've talked about this. But anyway, Mr. Wegman signed 1 of 1 in 8 days. He pitched from 85 to 95. He was a starter, and he spent his entire career with the Brewers. He was drafted in 1981 by the Brewers in the 5th round and made his debut in 1985. His career numbers, not bad: 17.8 WAR, an 81 and 90 record, a 4.16 ERA, and a 1.29 WHIP. His best season was in 1991 when he went 15-7 with a 2.84 ERA. One little tidbit about him: in a game in 1986, he pitched 11 scoreless innings, but obviously got 0 run support. The game was still 0-0 in a game the Brewers eventually lost in the 16th. All right, our next response comes from Charlotte, North Carolina, and it is Mr. Dave Cochran. He signed 1 of 1 in 8 days. He made his major league debut in 1986, but he actually didn't make it back to the majors until 1989. So really his career was from 89 to 92. He was drafted in 1981 in the 4th round by the New York Mets. His career numbers: a negative 1.4 WAR, a 235 batting average, 8 homers, 43 RBIs, and a 627 OPS. And he really didn't play enough to have anything qualify as a best season. Like I said, he was a utility infielder and a really end-of-the-bench player. And that's Dave Cochran, and we appreciate him sending in a response. Okay, the next one is from Dallas, Texas. And this is a fun one. This is Mr. Danny Darwin. He signed 1 of 1 in 9 days. He had a very long career. He pitched from 1978 to 1998, 20 years. He was a pitcher as both a starter and a reliever during his career. He played for 9 teams: the Rangers, the Brewers, the Astros, the Red Sox, the Jays, the Rangers again, the Pirates, the Astros again, the White Sox, and then the San Francisco Giants. Career numbers: 39.8 WAR, a 171 and 182 record, a 3.84 ERA, a 1.26 WHIP, and 32 saves. He pitched over 3,000 innings in his career, and he also won the ERA title in 1990. He was undrafted, and he played less than 2 years in the minor leagues before making his major league debut in '78. His best season, I believe, was in 1990. There was a couple candidates, but I picked 1990 when he was with the Astros, when he went 11-4 with a 2.21 ERA and 2 saves. And that was the year he led the league in ERA, and he also led the league in whip. He was known as a very tough teammate. If you want, you can look up, there's a couple stories of him getting into some scruffs with teammates, but he was obviously a good enough player to hang around for 20 years. You know, definitely not somebody who would be in the Hall of Fame or even in the Hall of Very Good, but definitely a guy who made his impact on the game of baseball. And then our last one for today is from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and it is Mr. Frank, I believe it's pronounced Bullock. He signed 1 of 1 in 8 days. He made 2 appearances in the major leagues, short stints in 1993 and 1998. His 93 stint was with the Expos, his 98 stint was with the Angels, and as you can see, this card is a Seattle Mariners card because he spent time, he was with 4 organizations before he made the majors in 93, and then he was with 5 more organizations before he made his next one in 98. So he definitely was in a lot of organizations, including the Mariners, which is when this card was taken. He was drafted originally in 1985 by the Expos in the 23rd round, but then went to college and was drafted again in 1987 in the 9th round by the Brewers. And ironically, I guess the Expos liked him well enough that he came back to the majors with them in 1993. Career numbers, a negative .9 WAR, a 202 average, 5 homers, 26 RBIs, and a 620 OPS. And like I said, not nearly enough numbers to qualify anything for a best season. But actually, after he finished in the majors in 98, he went on to play 4 years in Japan, a very successful career in Japan, retiring in 2002. He also spent some time in the Mexican League. So a guy who didn't necessarily have a lot of success in the American major leagues, but definitely found international success. Where should we put him? All right, we'll put him right here. Anyway, okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, share, subscribe to the channel. Would very much appreciate it. If you want to be in touch, leave a comment or email us at joe&zopod@gmail.com. And that's it for today. So thanks for pulling up a chair, and we'll see you next time to talk some more cards.